Welcome back students. I am your geography teacher Vandana Joshi and you are watching SST June. Students, in our today's video of the chapter agriculture, which is the third part of the video, we are going to study about some more topics under the chapter agriculture, where we will discuss about the technological development and the other things in which we will see the contribution of agriculture for the country's economy and many other parts of today's topic. So let's see which topics we are going to discuss into our today's video. First topic is the technological and the institutional reforms, where we will see what were the technological development in the past and in present in our country under the agricultural activity and how these were implanted on the agricultural activity and what are the benefits of these developments. Then the second topic is the contribution of agriculture in the various fields like economy and the job opportunities and many more other things. Then at the third topic we will discuss about the food security, as the food security is also connected with the agricultural activity. So what is food security and how it is affecting and it is valuable for our country, that we will see in our third topic. And at the last we will see the fourth topic, that is the impact of globalization on agriculture. We know now the agricultural activity is not depending only on one country. It is now globalized on the basis of technological development and all the basis of other aspects like economical and export and import, and many activities are there which we can include under the globalization of agriculture. So we will discuss these four topics in our today's video, which is the last part of the agriculture chapter. So let's discuss our today's topic. First topic, that is the technological and institutional reforms under the chapter agriculture. Students, now let's see our first topic, that is the technological and the institutional reforms in the agricultural activity. So in the past and present, there were two types of development and the reforms under the agricultural activities. These were technological and the institutional. If we will go in the past, there were also a lots of institutional reforms as well as the technological reforms were there. During the colonial period as well, there was a technological and the institutional development in the crops of cotton, indigo and many more others like tea and sugarcane and other crops. So now we will go through these reforms one by one. First of all, that is the technological. Here are few points which I have mentioned and we will discuss about these points in detail. So first of all, the technological. First, to improve in the agricultural activity, the government has decided to perform some agricultural programs in which the Nukkad Nataks, awareness programs and many other programs like a channel is also provided by the government like DD Kisan, which is provided by the Doordarshan, that is a technological development under the agricultural activity. Second is the technical assistance were provided by the government to the farmers in the subsidy amount or the low price amount. And veterinary services were also enhanced, in which the farmers, those are doing the animal rearing and the mixed farming together, so that they can also take benefit of the veterinary services to improve their animal quality and animal breeding. Then soil testing is also one technological development which has been started by the government to improve the fertility of soil and also the quality and the requirement of the soil. Now in the other hand, the institutional reforms. First of all, abolition of Jamindari, where we have studied about the Bhudan or Gramdan in the last video, in which the government has decided during that time to abolish the Jamindari system so that the land can be evenly distributed to the low grade farmers for the work. and the revolutions. After the Bengal famine, to secure the food for the future, the government has decided the Green Revolution, and then after that, one more revolution was there, that is known as the Operation Flood or the White Revolution. Then the government has given more opportunities on the agricultural activities as KCC, Kisan Credit Card, so that the farmers can take loan easily from any bank. Grameen Bank, Kisan Bank are also provided by the government to the farmers, and also the government has given the MSP, minimum support price on the harvested crop, is also given by the government to improve the condition of the farmers, as well as to give a kind of development in the agricultural activity. Now let's see these two reforms in detail. So students, if we will go through the institutional and the technological reforms in the agricultural field, first of all, there was a collectivization and consolidation of land holdings to make them economically valuable. How? One movement which we have already studied, which was known as the Bhudan and the Gramden movement. Same like that, they have abolished the Jamidari system, and here the cooperation with farmers and abolition of the Jamidari system was also there under the institutional reforms. We can also include the Green Revolution, which was based on the use of packages, technology, and the White Revolution to increase milk production, which was the most important step taken by the government to improve the condition of the farmers. Another step taken for the improvement of the institutional and that as well as technological development, that was the provision of crop insurance to protect the farmers against losses caused by natural calamities like drought, flood, cyclone, fire, and diseases, so that the farmer can also be assured that they will not get any kind of death trap, and their crop, if it is insured, then it will be protected from these diseases. How? Because if the calamities can affect it to their crop, so they can take the insurance amount from the government. There were establishment of the Grameen Bank and the cooperative society, and the banks are also for the farmers. And also the government has provided them the KCC, which is also known as the Kisan Credit Card, for the farming purpose loan, and also personal accident insurance scheme, or we can say PAIS, also provided by the government to improve the condition of the farmer, and some special weather bulletins and agricultural programs, as already I discussed to you, that is DD Kisan. One channel is for specially for the farmers, and many more programs are started by the government on the basis of TV and radio, like Krishi Darshan, with Bharti, and many more other programs are there started by the government to improve the condition of the farmers as well as in the agriculture. And also we can include the announcement of the minimum support price, or which is also known as the MSP, to improve the price of the agriculture, which was very less earlier when the government has not interfered under the agricultural activities. Here we can also include the exploitation of the farmer, which was done by the big dealers, that was stopped by the activity of MSP. Here are some more programs which are also for the improvement for the farmers, and also the government has passed a new Kisan bill, not supported by many farmers, but it's a very good step taken by the government to improve the condition of the farmer. Let's come to our next topic, that is the contribution of agriculture in Indian economy. We know that agriculture is the most ancient and the important activity through which not only we can fulfill our requirement, which are the basic requirement, also it is also helping to improve the economical condition of the country. Where if we will go through the contribution of agriculture, the first, that is the backbone of economy. How? Because through the export and importing of goods in the form of grain, we can also get the taxes while we are exporting it, and through which we can also improve our economy, and also the grains which are produced in our country in high amount can also develop the economical condition of our country. Second, the employment through the agriculture. Yes, in year 2011 there was the 52% of employment was provided by the agricultural activity, through which many people can earn more and more for their survival. At the third point, if you will see, that is the primary activity, for which we can say it is providing the raw material to all other activities. For example, wheat which we are growing for the agricultural activity or the primary activity is providing the flour to the secondary activity or the manufacturing industry, and also through which we can prepare many other products which are also can be marketed by the tertiary sectors. And in the fourth point, backbone for the industrial sector, because the agricultural activity is the activity through which we can provide the raw material to the industrial sector to manufacture it. So here we can say the agricultural activity is contributing more and more in the country's economy. So now let's see more over on it. So now if we will go through the contribution of agriculture to the national economy, employment and the outputs. That's a very important part for the GDP of the country, means the gross domestic product. How? Because the agriculture has been the backbone of Indian economy since very ancient time. Its share in the GDP has registered a declining trend from 1951 onwards. Here, it is also providing an employment and the livelihood to the population of our country, which was received around 52% in 2011, and also current situation is also not differ from it. As we know that agriculture is a primary activity which produces most of the food that we consume, and also besides the food grains, it also produces raw material for various industry, where these are the contribution of agriculture. But still the agricultural industry and the Indian farmers are facing a lots of challenges. Like the Indian farmers are facing big challenges from the international market. There has been reduction in the public investment in agriculture sector, particularly in irrigation and power. Subsidy on fertilizer has been decreased, leading to higher cost of production. Farmers are withdrawing their investment for agriculture, causing a downfall in the employment in agricultural sector. And also high cost of HYV seed, chemical fertilizers and the pesticides are a kind of big challenge for the farmers. So what can be the measures can be taken to remove these challenges? First of all, we have to put some steps like decision making in the favor of small farmers and the marginal farmers. Few awareness program can also be started to the farmers from the responsible citizen, and social responsibility towards the farmers from the society can be also taken as for the improvement in the condition of the farmers. third topic, that is the food security. Is there any relation between agriculture and food security? Yes. You have studied a chapter in economics in 9th class that is related to the food security. What is the requirement of food security and how it is correlated with the agricultural activity? If you have remembered that you have studied in that chapter, there was a famine of Bengal in 60s, due to which the country was facing a lots of food scarcity, and in the result the government has decided to make some buffer stocks for the future needs. And also government has provided the PDS system, means public distribution system, which is also known as the ration shops. Yes, so in that ration shops the government has provided some ration cards which are known as the BPL, below poverty line, APL, above poverty line, and the very poor, which are also known as the Antyodaya card. So these are some things which we can discuss under the food security topic. What is the requirement to make a food security? We know that our country is the most populous country, which is the second largest populous country over the world. So the food requirement is also very high. To fulfill the requirement, a 1 year's food is not sufficient. So to provide the food to the poor people, or to provide the food in a sufficient rate, government had decided to make a kind of security of food through the buffer stock, in which the government had decided few measures through which the food can be secured for the future upcoming years. And also due to the food security, country will not face any kind of food scarcity as it has been faced in the past. So now let's discuss more about the food security. So now let's discuss about the food security. We know that to food security, buffer stock is the main activity in which it is the stock of food grains, especially wheat and rice, procured by the government through the Food Corporation of India, means FCI. The FCI purchases wheat and rice for the government from the farmers of surplus estates at pre-announced price. This price is called minimum support price. So through which we can support our farmers, and the grains stored in buffer stocks are distributed in defect areas and among the poor strata of society at a price lower than the market price, known as the issue price. Here the government is also providing subsidy as a payment in many fields for the food security. To remove food scarcity and to improve the food security, rationing also started by the government of India around 1940s against the backdrop of Bengal famine. But it was revived in the work of acute food shortage during 1960s before the Green Revolution. So then after that, around 1965, a Green Revolution was started. Around mid-1970s, 3 important food intervention programs were introduced by the government. These were the PDS system, or we can say public distribution system for food grain. Second is the ICDS, which is also known as Integrated Child Development Services, and third is FFW, which is also known as Food for Work. The public distribution system refers to a system through which the food produced by the FCI is distributed among the poor through government regulated ration shop by using ration card. There are around 5.5 lakh ration shops all over the country, also known as fair price shops, where we can purchase food grains, sugar, etc. at the lower than the market price. And these are provided under the 3 kinds of ration card, which are known as the Antyodaya card for the poorest of poor, BPL for those below poverty line and all card for all others, which are also known as the APL card. During 2013, National Food Security was passed to provide food and nutritional security at affordable price to 75% of rural population and 50% of the urban population. Government has also provided some cooperative sector and the NGOs to help to ensure food security by setting up shops to sell low priced goods to people, for example Amul and Mother Dairy. And also Green Revolution started to increase in the production of crops, and modern agricultural technical uses also enhanced by the food security in India. Now let's come to the last topics, that is the impact of globalization on agriculture. We know that the globalization is not a single type of activity, it's a homogeneous activity where it can be positive as well as the negative effect on the agriculture. So the globalization is also having the positive as well as the negative effect on the agricultural activity. Let's see how. First of all, due to the globalization, the Indian farmers might have to force much unstable prices for these products fluctuated largely on year-to-year basis, because there will be a competition after the globalization in the prices of the crops. So there will be a fluctuation in the agricultural activity which will be resultant after the globalization. It can be give a positive effect as well as the negative effect to the farmers. Secondly, the impact of trade liberalization on the prices of agricultural product at international level and domestic level depend on what policies other countries follow. So, if we will be globalize the agricultural activity, we should follow the measures which has been taken by the other countries. So, in the sense, the farmer can be positively affected and the negatively affected through the globalization policy. At the third point, we can say major transformation took place with the introduction of high yielding variety of crops. That would be a positive effect through which the farmer can be affected in the positive manner. They will get some more opportunities to grow more and more crops with the good variety of seeds, and also they will be opportunated by the good technological development in the agricultural activity. Here, export of major agricultural commodities have been liberalized. For that, we can say the farmers are also getting some opportunities to get more liberalized as compared to the current condition. Here, under the globalization, particularly after 1990s, the farmers in India have been exposed to new challenges. Despite being an important producer of rice, cotton, rubber, tea, coffee, jute and spices, our agricultural products are not able to compete with the developed countries. So that there is a need for globalization in few fields, but we have to be ready to face the impact of the globalization for the agricultural activity, because that is true. If we want something in advance or if we want some improvement, so we have to ready for the demerits also. So here the topic globalization in the agricultural is also complete. Students, here the chapter agriculture is finally complete. Hope you understood it very well. Here I am providing you few very short type of questions and you have to answer these questions in the comment box. And for more videos in geography, don't forget to keep watching SST June.